Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Um, I think it's not started the recording. Okay, recording started. Okay. Okay. Just now. So let us look into the basics of processor. Bas- okay. Okay. So what is a microprocessor and what is the difference between microprocessor and a microcontroller? Of course, it's a kind of a repetition for us because we did this discussion during the studying of the course. Okay. So microcomputer, a computer with a microprocessor as its CPU includes memory and I/O devices. Okay, or I/O ports. That is microcomputer means microcontroller, for example. Okay, whereas microprocessor, silicon chip which includes ALU, register circuits and control circuits. Please observe that microprocessor does not include memory. Okay, so there's something missing in microprocessor. Memory is connected external to the microprocessor. Whereas for a microcontroller comes with a inbuilt memory. Okay, memory means both RAM as well as ROM. That is data memory as well as code memory. Okay, so microcontroller is a silicon chip which includes microprocessor, memory, I/O in a single package. Okay, so in this microprocessor means it is a ALU. Basically, the ALU part, that means microcontroller not only process the data, it also has memory. It also supports interface to external device using I/O ports. Okay, that's why it's called as I/O package. Okay. Now we'll go in detail into microprocessor. Now the word comes from the combination of micro and processor. Micro means um, a small part. The silicon chip which has transistor channel length of micro. Okay, micro length. That's why it's called as a microprocessors. Processor means a device that processes whatever. There is whatever the input given to the processor according to the command executed. It will process the data. Okay, it will process the instructions. In this context, processor means a device that processes numbers, especially specifically binary numbers, zeros and ones. Okay, so it will process the data uh, based on the command given. It will generate the result and it will store the result in the memory. To process means to simulate. So sorry, to manipulate. Okay, it is a general term that describes all manipulation. Okay, again in this content, it means to perform certain operations on the numbers that depend on the microprocessor design. Okay, so manipulate means it takes the data based on the input, it will perform some operation on the data and it will store the result in the memory. Okay, so that's the basic purpose of a microprocessor. So micro means small transistors used to build the processor. Okay, so that's the meaning of a micro. Nowadays, the processor design is nano. The channel length is in terms of micro. Nano length. Okay, so that's why we have nanotechnology these days. Okay, so here there's a little more description on micro. Micro is a new addition. In 1960s, processor were built using discrete elements like vacuum tubes. Okay, so which were of bigger in size. These devices performed the required operation, but were too large and slow because they are made of vacuum tubes. They are very large and and it's very slow. I think I told this in the class, guys. That one vacuum tube is was of the size of a duster. A duster. So it was so huge. Okay. Nowadays the transistor is very small. It is in terms of the channel length is in terms of micrometer. In the early 70s, the microchip was invented. All of the components that made up of the processor were now placed on a single piece of silicon. The size becomes several thousand times smaller, and the speed becomes several hundred times faster. The microprocessor was born. So, since the size was reduced, okay, the advantage is power consumption is lesser and speed of operation is faster. Okay, so that's how the microprocessor term came into picture. Yeah. Is there any mini processor? directly from discrete elements to single chip. That is from vacuum tubes to transistors, MOSFETs. So that was MOSFET is a small IC single chip. Comparing today's microprocessor to the ones built in the early 1970s, this older processor, you find an extreme increase in the amount of integration. That means smaller the size of transistor, we can accommodate more transistors on a single chip. We can reduce the chip size by increasing the number of transistors. Okay, so there comes the mini processors, that is nano processor. Okay. Okay, so definition of microprocessor with respect to nanoprocessors or mini processor. So microprocessor is a programmable device that takes in numbers, performs on them, that is arithmetical, logical or logical operations according to the program stored in the memory. That is according to the instruction, and then produces numbers as a result, which is going to be stored in the memory. Okay, so this is a basic operation done by the what is known as microprocessors. Okay, this what is a programmable device? Basically, what is the basic purpose of a programmable device? The microprocessor can perform different sets of operation and data it receives depending on the sequence of instructions. So these instructions are stored in the ROM space. So processor will fetch the instruction, execute the instruction. The instruction requires some data which is available in the RAM space, supplied in the given program. By changing the program, the microprocessor manipulates the data in a different way. That is, it is operating on the data and then it generates a different set of results. Okay, so that's the meaning of programmable device. That is, it takes the input and it takes the instruction, manipulates the data based on the instruction, stores the result back to the memory. So that's the meaning of programmable device. Instructions. So what is an instruction? Each microprocessor is designed to execute a specific group of operation, the set of instructions. This group of operation is called an instruction set. So group of instruction is an instruction set. Okay. This instruction set defines the microprocessor, and that means this instruction set defines what are the things that can be done by the microprocessor and what are the things that cannot be done by the that means the capability of a microprocessors in general. Okay, yeah. The data that processor manipulates must come from else somewhere. I mean, from where the data comes from? It comes from what are the different sources of data? Input devices connected to the ports of a microprocessor. So these are the devices that bring data into the system from the outside world, that is which provides the data to the microprocessor to generate the result after performing operation. These represent devices such as keyboard connected to the microprocessor, for example, mouse or switches, and other devices like for example sensors. Okay, sensors or some other devices which gives like for example IR sensors, infrared sensors, or LED sensors, or motion control sensor. See, all these devices provides input to the microprocessor. Using this data, microprocessor is going to manipulate the data and stores the result back to the memory. Okay, so okay, I think these are very basics, like numbers. Okay, so binary numbers. So microprocessor takes only binary numbers. Okay, it cannot be anything else, because why only binary numbers? Why not like octal, hexadecimal, or decimal number? Because binary numbers has two states, zeros and ones, and the transistor also has a two state. The number system should be represented or should be implementable. So how can we implement a binary numbers? Using the transistors. Binary numbers, two states, zeros and ones. Transistors, again two states, off condition and the saturation condition, between which it is going to switch. Okay, so that's why binary number system is used in the computer system, not any other number system, because we don't have any device which has multiple states. Like for example, octal, it has 8 states. We do not have a device which has 8 states. Okay, so that's the reason why binary number system is in used in the all programmable devices. So this group of bits is also called as a word. Okay, so here you can observe that a set of bits is also called as a word. Yes, there are different way. Like for example, byte, word. Okay, there are different way of recognizing the group of bits. We'll see in a little detail later. Okay, the number of bits in a microprocessor word is a measure of its abilities. That is, number of bits it can process. Yes, for example, 8051 can process 8 bit of data. That means 1 byte of data. The 8086 processor, what we are going to study, can process 16 bits of data. So that's a 16-bit processor. That's how it is. Okay. So basically, number of bits it can handle indicates the ability of a processor or controller. Okay. Yeah. So now, so little in detail, like for example, what is a word and what is a byte, something like that. Okay. So for example, 8 bit of data is a 8-bit processor. It's a 1 byte, for example. Okay. So here we have example 6800 is a 8-bit processor. Okay. So what we are going to study now, 886 is a 16-bit processor. Okay. So see, the thing is, 8-bit processor memory capacity is smaller. 16-bit processor memory capacity is larger. For example, a group of 8 bits were referred to as half word or a byte. Okay, a group of 4 bits is called as a nibble. 32-bit groups were given as a long word. 16-bit data is called as a word. Okay, 16-bit words, 8-bit byte or half word, 4-bit nibble, 32-bit long word. Okay, so that's how the processor is going to identify the size of data. Okay, that is measured in terms of number of bits. Okay, nowadays as the processors can manipulate 32 bits of data. Nowadays we have processor which can manipulate 64-bit data. Our, like for example, our processors, our mobile devices, smartphones can manipulate 16-bit of data. Nowadays we also, nowadays, I think the systems has come with which can manipulate 128 bits of data. Okay, so larger memory manipulation capacity, larger data manipulation capacity. Okay. Okay, so every processor has some basic operation to be done, like for example arithmetic operations, like basic add and subtract operations. Okay, microprocessor will have operations such as multiply and divide. 8051 we have seen, it can perform multiplication as well as division operation. So some can perform even complex operations like square root. Yes, for example, 8051 does not has any instruction to perform square root, but there are some advanced processor which can perform square root of numbers. Okay. So in addition to these arithmetic operations, it can perform logical operations like, for example, AND or XOR, left shift operation, right shift operations. Okay. Using these operations, we can build other logical operations, like for example we want an AND operation, we can combine and not, for example. Okay, we want, let's say we want a division operation which can be implemented using shift left or a shift right operation. Okay, so all this is possible. Okay, but these are the basic logical features, logical instructions which are provided by the microprocessor. So number of types of operations defines the microprocessor instruction set and depends on the specific microprocessor. Okay. So number of instructions it can execute uh, is the instruction set, or number of instructions that can be executed by the microprocessor or microcontrollers. Okay. Okay. Fine. Little more into the memory. Okay. Yes, let us look into only the important points. Okay, memory is a location where the information is stored. Okay, so it can store a number of bits. For example, it can store 8 bit of data. Okay, so there's a size of memory. That is, one location can store, for example, 8 bit of data. In our 8051, we have seen that one memory location can store 8 bit of data because it's a 18-bit 8-bit processor. If it is a 16-bit processor, it can store 16-bit of data. Okay, so the number of bits it can store uh, defines the the size of the memory. Okay, So for example, now what is the total capacity of the memory? It can store no 10 no sorry you know 1000 locations, okay, and then the total capacity of the memory is measured in terms of kilobytes. For example, 1 kilobyte, there is 1024 kilobytes, okay. So there's 1024 bytes, okay. One location can store 8 bit of data. Likewise, there are 1024 number of locations. So the total capacity is 1024 kilobytes. Okay, so we can convert this into bits also. If you multiply this with 8, it will convert it into number of bits. Okay, so mega is 1024 kilos and giga is 1024 mega. That is higher the memory. Larger the bit size of a processor, larger is the memory it can access. Okay, I think this is the okay. When program is entered into computer, it is stored in the memory. So whatever we write the program, it is stored in the memory. Then the microprocessor start to execute the instruction. It brings the instruction from memory one at a time. So because processor can they are single core processors, it can execute one instruction at a time. Okay, memory is also used to hold the data. That is after execution of instructions, um, the resultant data should be stored somewhere in the memory. Okay. Okay, so now what does it produce? For the user to see the result of the execution of the program, the result must be presented in a human readable format. Yes, for example, instruction executes instruction operates on data, which is binary data. The result is also binary, but we cannot see binary. Is for the machine, not for the human being. How do we convert that into something which a human being can understand? Okay, the result must be presented on an output device. For example, let us say display device, LCD display or LEDs, okay, or some form of memory device where we can read the data, okay, a serial window, for example, something like that. Okay, this can be a monitor. So there is a LCD, a display device. Here it can be a printer or simple LED. LEDs connected to the processor or controllers. Okay. Okay. Microprocessor based system. Um, uh, so what is a microprocessor based system? Okay. So basically, this system has CPU, that is microprocessor, input device, memory. That is memory is external to the processor, and output device. Okay. So input device gives the input, which is stored in the memory. Instructions are also available in the memory. Instructions operates on the data. The result generated is stored in the memory. Okay. So the microprocessor fetches the instruction from the memory, operates on the data, result is stored back to memory, and it can also be displayed on the display device or output device. For example, LED is connected to the microprocessors. Okay. Yes, now, okay, what are the important components of a microprocessors? ALU, there is arithmetic logic unit. Control unit, this is responsible for the for example controlling of operations, like for example data bus control or address bus control, or for example control the bus control. Okay, so for all this controlling operation, we have a control unit. That is for execution of instructions by the microprocessor. Okay, so all this is taken care by a separate hardware called as control unit, an array of registers for holding data while it is being manipulated. Is this array of registers? It is not this memory. This memory is external to the processor. This array of register is internal to the processor. Okay. So this array of register is internal to the processor. So processor, that is basic processor, what we discussed, 8086 for example, does not has an internal memory. This array of register is just a temporary memory to store the temporary data. That is, after execution, it stores the data. It will store it in the internal register because internal registers are faster compared to this external registers. Okay, so that is an important point. Okay, now So when we see this processor, it is made of ALU registers array. There is a internal CPU registers and control unit. Okay, so this processor communicates with the I/O devices, input/output devices or input/output ports, and memory, which is both ROM as well as RAM, through system bus. Okay, this system bus is of three types. It consists of three lines: address bus, data bus, and control bus. Generally termed as system bus. Generally, it is called as system bus. Okay, so this system bus will interface I/O device and or I/O ports and memory to the CPU or microprocessor for processing purpose, and this is responsible for see, if there is no interface, there is no communication between the devices. So system bus is responsible for communication, and the system bus is made of data bus, address bus, and what is known as control bus. Okay, yes, now so what we see now is memory stores information such as sorry, jumping, okay. Okay, so memory stores in terms of binary format, there is zeros and ones. Okay, it provides this information to the microprocessor whenever it is needed by the processor. Okay, so there is a subsystem, memory subsystem. Okay, this subsystem includes. Okay, this now this memory system is something like this one. What I was talking about, this memory. Okay, that is external to the processor. That is ROM as well as RAM. That means the question here is why this memory is not made part of the ALU, the ARC processor. Whereas in 8051 we have seen that the memory is internal to the controller, 8051 controller. Because one of the reason for that is because the size of memory is very small in 8051 microcontroller. Is what is the size of 8051 memory, guys? It has internal ROM as well as RAM. The ROM size was around 4 kilobytes. RAM was 128 bytes. It is very small. The memory can be accommodated as part of the microcontroller IC or a silicon chip because of the smaller size of memory. In microprocessor, what happens is this memory is very large. The size of the memory is 1 megabyte. We'll see in detail. Okay, we'll discuss memory architecture in detail. So the size of memory is so large that we cannot accommodate this memory as part of the processor. If we do that, the size of the processor is very large and memory, the power consumed is very, very large. More the power consumed, lesser is the performance of the processor. Okay, so thereby memory is made external to the processor. But what is the disadvantage of this is memory access becomes slower compared to the memory access which is part of the IC, which is part of the processor. That is, which is available on the same chip as that of other part of the processor. Okay, so if the memory is part of the same IC, memory access is faster. If memory is external to the processor IC, memory access is slower. Okay, but since the size is very large, memory is not made part of the IC, it is external to the IC. Okay, that's the meaning of this. Okay, so that's why it's called as a memory subsystem. Subsystem means it is external to the processor IC. Okay, so that's why it's called as a subsystem. Okay, so what is the content of this memory subsystem? Okay, the registers include the um, microprocessor. Okay, it consists of registers and it consists of read-only memory. That is, ROM is used to store the instructions, RAM is used to store the data. Okay, so this data is provided by the user, such as, for example, program data as well as program. There is instructions as well as data. Okay, okay. Yes, now. Okay, yes, now this memory map and address map. So this will take up at a little later stage because sorry. um, so here we have to understand the memory architecture, so we will take up this at a later stage. Okay, yes, now. Okay, yes, now we'll quickly look into the first topic of the. So this was a basic introduction to the processor. Okay, fine. Okay, let's now the first topic in our syllabus is the historical background. This I'll provide, this notes I'll provide. You can go through this. In this historical background topic, we discuss. Okay, we discuss. Uh, the historical background. Like for example, from mechanical devices, how do we arrive at a electronic devices? The notes has all the details. So first we have mechanical devices, very old, devices. Mechanical devices. From there, like for example, this details include like Babylonian, days where they had mechanical devices which are used as a calculator, something like that. Okay, so this was a pre-electrical age, okay, where there was no electronic devices or electrical devices, okay. Then comes electrical age, that is invention of motors, okay. So using the motors, there are many devices, many devices were constructed, okay. Then comes, this was electrical age, okay. Then comes electronics age, okay. So in this electronics age, is because of the invention of processors. The first processor to introduce was is a 4-bit processor manufactured by the Intel. Okay, it is called as 4004 processor. Okay, and this 4004 processor had a memory of 4 bytes, 4 kilobytes. Okay, and each location is 4-bit wide. That's why it's called as a 4-bit microprocessor. Okay, 4-bit, one location can store 4 bits. Total number of location is 4096. Okay, so the total size of the memory is 4096 into 4 in terms of bits. Okay, the problem with this processor is it is very slow, word length is very small. Because of this, memory size is also very very small. It can, what is the application of this simple processor? Basic version of processor, it is used in the simple video games, okay, like a microprocessor based simple control system. Yes, for example, if you remember, we used there used to be small video games, very small video games. Those video games used to be constructed using a 4-bit microprocessor. For example, 4004 microprocessor. It can execute instruction in terms of kilo instruction per second. Okay, for example, the instruction rate is 50 kilo instruction per second. The operation speed is very very small. Okay, so then came little advanced processor, 4040 processor. This was slightly faster compared to 4004 processor. Okay, and it had a little larger memory because of the bigger word size. Then came 8008 processor, which is 16-bit in size. That is 16-bit processor, and it had a total 48 instruction. See, this processor had a less number of instruction. 8008 had a 48 instruction. There is more number of instructions. More number of instruction means more operations. Okay, so applications are more advanced. It is used for advanced applications. Okay. Then microprocessor were manufactured by many companies, because initially it was started with Intel. Then came the companies like Motorola, Zilog. Okay, many companies started manufacturing a microprocessor. Okay, so because of this competition, the price of the microprocessor started reducing. Advanced processor came into market. Okay, which are used in a highly advanced embedded systems. Okay, yes, let us look into 16-bit processor, because we have to concentrate on 886 processor. Let us look into 886 processor. So 886 processor is basically a 16-bit processor. That means one location can access, one location can accommodate 16 bits of data. It can run at a faster rate, nanosecond. It can run at a nanosecond speed. That means it can execute 2.5 million instructions per second, faster compared to basic version of processor. it could execute only instructions at a kilo instructions per second rate. This microprocessor can execute a million instructions per second. Okay, so this processor 886 or other version of 886 called as 885, has 6 byte of instruction cache. Okay, guess one more thing. It has 1 megabyte of memory. Okay, so the total size of memory is 1 megabyte. Okay, guess for example, that is 8051 internal memory is only 4 kilobytes ROM and 128 bytes RAM. Very small compared to processor. Because this memory is external to the processor, we can accommodate larger memory to the processor. We can interface larger memory to the processor. Okay, so it has a six byte instruction cache. What is this instruction cache? This instruction cache helps in running the instruction faster. Okay, this was not something which is not available in 8051 microcontroller. Okay, so because of this, we can prefetch the instructions so that we can execute the instruction at a faster rate. Okay, so 8886 can multiply as multiply and divide instruction. Of course, this was available in 8051 also. Okay, but they are not available in 8085 microprocessor. So this author is trying to compare 8086 with 8085 micro. Okay, so these processors are called as CISC processor. Why CISC processor is because the architecture is very complex and it has more number of instruction set. Okay, that's why it's called as a CISC processor or complex instruction set computers. Okay, because of number of number and the complexity of instruction is very large. Okay, 16-bit processor also provide more internal register, so the internal register size is very large. Okay, space that 8-bit processor can provide. Okay, more internal register space. So the applications include spreadsheets, word processor, okay, spelling checkers, computer-based thesaurs. Okay, there is dictionaries, for example, personal computers who developed using the 886 processor. This, for example, this you remember, earlier days there were some games which were run on 886 processor. Guys, for example, we'll take one example. This I don't know whether you guys remember Aladdin, game. Please remember small games like Aladdin games. There were small games. They are all 16-bit applications or 16-bit games. Okay, those games can be run on 16-bit processors. Okay, so this 16-bit processor also supports, like, for example, spreadsheets, word processor. Okay, which is not possible by a 8-bit processor or 8-bit controller, like, for example, 8051 or 8085 microprocessors. Okay, so this is the application of what is known as 886 processors. Yes, okay. Okay. Anyway, this I'll share this what you call these notes and the PPT in the blogspot. Okay, I can put it on the WhatsApp also, no problem. You can download it. You can go through this. I suggest you guys read this. This simple information. Okay, like how the mechanical what are the devices used in mechanical age, and how the electrical age evolved, and how the electronics age is wow, how the electronics age evolved, and how the devices are manipulated to use it in a advanced systems or advanced devices. Okay, so go through that. This is a basic feature of a 16-bit processor, for example, 886 processor. Of course, we'll discuss more features of 886 processor along with the architecture of processors. We'll continue in the next class. Yes, okay. It's, somebody's, I think this, speaker is on. That's why there's a. Okay, anyway, fine, guys. Guys, thanks for joining. See you in the next class. Okay. Okay. See you. Bye. Good day.